I've made popular videos on why your favorite athletes go broke and why your favorite musicians go broke, which leads us to why your favorite celebrities go broke. Amber Heard has been trending on social media the past few weeks, and she will be bankrupt level of broke for many years if Johnny Depp wants to make that a reality. Amber Heard's 2015 income has been disclosed after she filed for spousal support from her husband Johnny Depp. The Rum Diaries actress is seeking $50,000 a month from Johnny. I still have no idea where the idea of $50,000 a month in spousal support comes from, considering they didn't have kids together and she didn't have to leave her career during the marriage. According to court papers obtained by People, Amber earned a total of $259,000 in 2015. There are so many ads that play on my videos of e-commerce gurus telling you that they make millions per year with no work. Amber asking for $50,000 a month when she was only making $20,000 means she needs to teach a course on finessing. As everyone is probably aware right now, Heard just lost the civil lawsuit case against Johnny Depp where he was awarded a surplus of $8.35 million. It's been reported that she made $1 million from her role in Aquaman and was set to make around $2 million for the sequel. Based on these numbers, she probably made $6 to $8 million in her 18-year career. However, the court papers show that Amber has numerous expenses including agent fees and car payments, meaning she banked a total of $51,000 in 2015. She doesn't strike me as someone who is investing wisely. This is important because she could have had a sizable net worth today, but it doesn't appear that she does.
Appearing on the Today Show, the lawyer said outright that Amber just doesn't have the money to pay the judgment.
Is she able to pay a $10.4 million judgment?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
To be fair, very few people have $8.35 million sitting around in cash to pay a judgment, but my guess is that she has less than $1 million liquid. She apparently owns this house out in Yucca Valley, California. Redfin says it's worth around $1 million. Obviously, me and you both don't know Amber's financial situation, but it's safe to say that she doesn't have $8 million liquid, illiquid, or in future earnings. A major reason why your favorite celebrities go broke is lawsuits and making terrible decisions that lead to massive financial damages. It's reported that Amber Heard was awarded $7 million following her divorce from Johnny Depp. Quick question to everyone. Amber Heard was only married to Johnny for 2 years, didn't miss any movie roles, and didn't have a kid with him. So what exactly is the $7 million for? I'm actually legitimately curious because I must be missing something. Marry a wealthy guy, file for divorce within 2 years because he doesn't put the toilet seat down, and make $7 million. Does that sound fair to you? Moving on. It was exposed within the trial that Amber had not sent the $7 million awarded to her from the divorce to charities like she promised. She likely spent millions on lawyers for this trial.
Well, we heard Amber Heard on the stand slip and say that she had already spent over $6 million on this case. I believe that's probably prior to trial. So it's reasonable to believe this was, $10 million plus for each side.
The judgment is more than her current net worth. She's going to be under financial stress for the remainder of her life if Johnny were to garnish wages and pursue every dollar she owes. All it took is one decision to post an article defaming Johnny to ruin her financially. With our next celebrities, it was many bad decisions that led to financial turmoil.
Everybody before me that I had to look up to, they were just like, no, this is great. Once you start rapping, it's good, just money all the time. Just, nothing's ever going to happen bad. Nothing bad's ever going to happen. Your family's not going to come after you. Nothing's going to happen. Just rap, and it's just girls and swimming pools after this.
In the years I've spent studying this subject, one variable is universal. Athletes and celebrities who go broke spend their exorbitant income thinking the money will never stop flowing in.
From the people that came before me, even rock stars, rappers, singers, athletes, just like, no, this whole thing is just money all the time. You're good at something, it's just going to be money. Always. Nobody's ever been like, this goes away after a while.
Celebrities and athletes who reach the peak in their professions get paid really, really, really well and believe the money will always flow in at that level, obviously because they're the best in the world at what they do. But many of them have very short careers.
I bought my Bugatti. I was fine.
You bought it for $2.1 million.
$2.1 million.
And then you, very shortly thereafter, you found out that you were actually broke and you sold it for, all they gave you was $800,000.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of how millions can disappear. T-Pain essentially lost $1.3 million in a very short time frame because of his Bugatti purchase. Because he's a high earner and probably pays 50% in taxes, agent fees, and other various expenses combined, he actually lost around $2.6 million.
So this is from 2005. In 2006 is when I made the $40 million. So it took me pretty much 9 years to go through this whole cycle.
They discussed how T-Pain burned through $40 million in a matter of 9 years. It's almost difficult to understand how anyone could spend that much in such a short time frame. What's sad is this actually happens.
You said that you had to borrow money to buy your kids Burger King at some time. What year would have that been?
That was 10, 11?
Okay, 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going from being at the top of the charts as a musician in 2005, making $40 million in 2006, to borrowing money to feed your kids in 2010? My favorite comments on the athlete going broke videos is, Spencer, this athlete isn't going to go broke because they're about to make $10 million a year. Trust me, it can be difficult to understand, but it happens all the time. Thankfully, T-Pain was able to bounce back and is doing fine now. Do any of you recognize this rapper? That is 50 Cent, one of the most iconic rappers ever. Besides what we're about to discuss, 50 Cent has actually been pretty good with his money and investing, but he's made some mistakes. Published on Monday, July 13, 2015 on CNBC, 50 Cent files for bankruptcy. On his assets and liabilities sheet filed with his bankruptcy, 50 Cent listed out $24.8 million in assets and $32.5 million in liabilities. Imagine having $25 million in assets and not being able to pay your debt. For reference, you're in the top half of the top 1% if you have a net worth of $25 million, and he had more debt than assets. One of his liabilities was child support. His payments owed to Daphne were $832,600, and he also owed $22,000 to the state of New York. Child support is such an interesting topic in America because of how vastly different the payments are since they're based on the breadwinner's income. In my videos about why athletes go broke, I detail why child support and divorce are the two biggest reasons. These guys are so stupid because they have kids at the peak of their ultra high income years and then have to pay child support on that stated income, and many have multiple kids with multiple women. In his list of creditors with unsecured claims, I noticed he had numerous bills for legal services. First one was $90,000, $2,000, $143,000, accounting services bill for $50,000, $3,500, $568,000, and lastly, $172,000. One of the downsides of being a massive public figure is finding yourself in numerous lawsuits. Some are avoidable though, which leads me to this unsecured creditor claim. $7 million owed to LaStonia Leviston. While spending time reading through some of the lawsuits that 50 Cent was a party to, I came across this lady LaStonia Leviston in the Jackson vs. Roberts lawsuit. Curtis James Jackson III, aka 50 Cent, is the plaintiff suing William Leonard Roberts II, aka Rick Ross. The two rappers have long had beef with each other. Enter the infamous adult video. In Leviston's lawsuit against 50 Cent, she alleges that she and her boyfriend made an adult video together that was meant to remain private. A few months later, Leviston's boyfriend allegedly sold the adult videotape to 50 Cent. Then it's alleged that 50 Cent dressed in a wig and provided commentary on the adult video. It's then alleged that 50 Cent posted the adult video on his website, including a link to a website where the adult video in question could be viewed in its entirety. You're probably wondering how this all comes together. LaStonia Leviston is Rick Ross's baby mama. LaStonia won the case with 50, resulting in a $7 million judgment. How do famous celebrities eventually file for bankruptcy? They do stupid stuff like posting someone else's private adult video for millions to see and losing a $7 million judgment. Or they write an article claiming someone abuses them when it's completely untrue and lose a $10.35 million lawsuit. This was 50 Cent's monthly personal expenses back in 2015 that I found really interesting. $67,000 was allocated to his Connecticut mansion each month. 50 Cent's Connecticut mansion, once listed for $18.5 million, has finally sold at an 84% discount after 12 years. Here's what the 52-room house looks like. One thing I mention all the time is these athletes and celebrities buy massive mansions that are custom built and have features that are insane. The house looks amazing when you're making $10 million a year, but it becomes a massive problem when you need to sell and realize that no one wants to buy it because it's super unique and custom and the buyer's pool is really small. 50 Cent bought the house from savvy investor Mike Tyson for $4.1 million in 2003, and it finally sold in 2015 for $2.9 million. Think about this. 50 Cent was paying $67,000 a month to maintain this house, and 12 years after buying the mansion, he sold it for $1.3 million less and $1.5 million loss if you include closing costs. I was able to find bankruptcy documents for another celebrity who faced financial turmoil after making a lot of dough. Do any of you remember this famous comedian? If you guessed Sinbad, you would be correct. In Sinbad's listed debts, he has old credit cards for $70,000, $305,000, and $32,000, also listed as $2.3 million owed to the Franchise Tax Board Bankruptcy Unit. His biggest debt is listed here, $8.2 million owed to the IRS for income taxes between the years 1998 to 2006. I also found this document interesting. It lists Sinbad's income and expenses for the 6 months, September 2012 to February 2013. He generated over $1 million from stand-up comedy in this 6-month stretch, but his expenses were just over $1 million too, resulting in a net profit of only $49,000. I had no idea he earned that much as a comedian for a 6-month stretch in 2012-2013. He was pacing for a $2 million year in revenue. I also had no idea how much expenses went into earning that money. He lists out everything. The income section is 2 lines. The expenses section is like 36 lines long. I feel like most fans have no idea on why some of their favorite celebrities or athletes go bankrupt, which is why I find this topic interesting and just try to shed some light on why they do. It sounds insane how some of these entertainers can make $40 million and still go broke, but it happens. It actually happens all the time, but hopefully it won't happen to you. Thanks for watching.